never give up. It's just going to get better and better and better and better. And then you're going to be like, yo, why was I ever thinking about giving up?
People be talking a lot, I just noticed. They do not walk the talk, they be provoking. Say that they are a boss, I say they joking. I just be growing like it is meiosis. You don't got advantage cause your DNA status. Ballin' out March Madness. Head of my race like I'm POTUS. Since a kid I always knew I was chosen. Know that we smooth like it's lotion. We making waves that are bigger than oceans, We go crazy like psychosis, yeah. Got the drip like it's osmosis, yeah. No advantage from your DNA status. Ballin' out March Madness. Head of my race like I'm POTUS. Since a kid I always knew I was chosen.
Alright, more inspiration, guys.
Don't ever give up. You guys got this, no matter how hard it may get. You got this.
What's going on, guys? We are back with another episode of the Hustle House 24/7 365 podcast. I'm your host, Lamar, aka Lambo, Mr. Cream Cap, now with my co-host.
Various layers, Cody Stockton, Beasts.
Yes, sir. And guys, we were actually coming to this podcast. We had a guest scheduled for today, but they had to cancel last minute. But what we wanted to do is still go ahead and put out some content. We already had the studio ready to go. We had the cameras recording. We had the mics and everything set up. A lot of you guys don't know, even though we have this studio design, there is some setup that goes into putting all this together. So we got some lights in the background. We got a green screen. We got a whole setup here. But yeah. But anyways, things happen. Life happens. Not a big deal. Me and Cody both have things that come up all the time when we try to schedule and make plans with people. We're both busy guys. He's constantly having jobs that come up. I'm constantly on my fucking phone. So it is what it is. But what we wanted to do is go ahead and come out, still put a video out. I'm going to be out of town next week for a whole entire week. So we're not going to have any content probably that comes out next week unless Cody gets something out. But something we've heard from some of our audience members and people that watch our content and engage with, our social medias and, with us in our daily lives is that from when they watch us, they don't know too much. Excuse me. They don't know too much about our background or about our history. Most people, me and Cody, we have a pretty tight knit friend group, but mutual friends between us as well as our own individual group of friends that obviously know us well, know what we do, know what we're about. Know our dreams, goals, aspirations, all that good jazz. But there's a lot of people that, are new to us and we're new to you. And, I've had just a couple random people ask, you guys should talk about, where y'all come from and your history and things like that. And I think we touched on it a few times, but nothing, super deep or super serious or anything. So, yeah, that's what we're going to talk about today. So if you don't want to hear about us, too bad. That's what we're doing. But yeah, guys, I come from humble beginnings down in the gutter, in the mud. No, I was kidding. We're not going to go that route with it. But yeah, guys, as far as my background, I'm from, here, Roanoke, Virginia, was born here, tried getting out at least twice post-college, come back both times. It is what it is. This is home to me. Love the mountains, love the valleys, love the nature. People, questionable. But love that we have a lot of things to do here. So I grew up here. I grew up in the country in Boone's Mill, Rocky Mount, Franklin County, to some people that are from around here. So literally out in the country, in the sticks, the boondocks is what I like to call it. My great grandfather owned a shit ton of land, a nice stretch of land, and passed it down to his children. He had, I think, 6 or 7 kids. I'm sorry, fam. I know I have to sit here and count them all down, but every child except one built on that land. So grandparents came along. They built their own brick house, had 2 kids. Then my mom had me. So I'm the oldest of 4. I have 3 younger siblings, 2 younger twin sisters, and a little brother who just graduated high school. Shout out Jaleel. So yeah, I was born out in the country, grew up in the country. I was that guy, run around, did stuff in the woods. Wasn't really born in the city life. So I always was outside, which I think, kind of how I think I've kept that as I've grown. I always like being outside. I hate being inside for any long periods of time. I always like being out in nature, like being out on water, things of that nature. So, my childhood wasn't any different than, most people's. I didn't, like I said, I don't have some sob story background where I was, used and abused or beaten or anything like that. I had a pretty normal come up. my mom was a single mom, raising, at one point just one kid, then 3 kids, and 4 kids once my little brother came along. So, but yeah, something I can look back and think about from my childhood, something that I learned early on and that I kind of have grasped now. And I guess some qualities about me now is anybody that you meet, anybody that you talk to that knows me personally will tell you guys that I am probably one of the most hardest working people that they know. Someone that doesn't stop going, doesn't stop working, doesn't stop grinding, doesn't like to sit around and, waste time or anything like that, which is a good quality to have in my opinion. It might not be the best quality to have when you're in relationships. That's another story for another day, but that's what they would tell you about me. And I learned that from a very early age. And I contribute that to my grandfather. My grandfather was a hard working individual himself. Always made sure that things were taken care of. His family was taken care of, wife, kids, grandkids. He was the only boy, and I want to say 6 children. He was the only male, so he always had that responsibility as it was, for his sisters, his family. Like I said, we were born in the country. My great grandpa owned a bunch of land, so my grandpa was a farm boy. I wasn't a farm boy. It wasn't really farmy by the time I came up after everybody built on the land. But he's always known hard work. And I've always known him to be a hardworking man, and even to this day, even though when he shouldn't be working, he's still working, and I don't blame him because, like I said, I don't like to sit around. He don't like to sit around either. But my grandpa had me working at a very, very early age. I would say probably like 6 or 7 years old, bro. I was cutting grass, helping with he had a landscaping business. He worked for Norfolk and Southern, had a cleaning business. I was helping him clean, so I was taught from an early age, if I wanted something, I had to go out there and get it myself. If I wanted, a Game Boy or a game or a toy or whatever, I had to work for it. I couldn't just ask for it. And like I said, I wasn't born in, I don't have a poor family background or anything like that. My family, made sure they handled their business and took care of things. I've had nice things and been in nice places, but it wasn't just handed to me. I wasn't born into money. I couldn't just, ask for whatever and get it. And honestly, I'm thankful for that, because you hear these stories about these rich kids nowadays, being born into money and being passed down businesses and passed down assets and passed down nice houses, and them losing it all or don't know what to do with it, or just being handed money and then they become spoiled brats or assholes and things of that nature, So, and you don't just I'm not just saying that I know people like that. So I'm thankful for the fact that I had to kind of, go through some things and work hard to get the things that I have, because I think it instilled a lot of good qualities in the man that I am today. It's hard for me to ask people for too much. I try my very best to figure out something on my own before I ask anybody or ask anything of anybody. I'm one of those people that I'm going to find a way to do it myself. I'm going to find a way to pay for it myself. I'm going to find a way for me to, pay, travel with people. I'm gonna handle my business, and like I said, I learned that from my grandfather. My uncle was the same way. My mom's the same way. My mom's someone that, whenever there's an issue around, she always found a way to make things happen regardless of the situation. So a lot of that, like I said, I'm just reflecting back on my childhood, and that's something a major quality that I can say that is instilled for me today, that I learned at an early age. And it never got easier. Even when I wanted my first car, I had to pay for my first car. My grandfather put it in his name for me because I was 15 or 16. Paid for my first car. When I wanted cell phones, my mom made me pay for my cell phones. Really, and it's always been that way. And I don't look back and I don't hate it at all. I have no problems with it, no qualms with it, because like I said, it gave me that drive, that motivation, and that mindset that, I have to get, if I want things and if I need things, I have to find a way for myself to get those things. And it's definitely carried on into, my adulthood, as a grown man, my business life as, a business owner. It's carried into how I treat, my friends and, my social groups that I'm in. So I'm I'm very thankful for that myself. But yeah, what are some things that you feel that you learned early on that's kind of made you the person you are today? Like anything you can think back on and reflect on that, like specific memories or, situations?
I mean, pretty much I just had to like work for everything. But I want to do like a little background. I just want to do a little background because I'll explain all that stuff.
Yeah.
But my background personally, here, I need to mute this. My background for me is I grew up in this town called Lawrenceville, Virginia. It's like 1,000, 2,000 people in that town. It was my mom, Chris, and me. Chris is my brother. And then my grandparents lived in that town as well. There's not a lot of opportunity. It's like maybe one gas station, 2 gas stations. There's a Food Lion.
What's it called?
3 churches. Lawrenceville, Virginia. It's
Never heard of it.
It's like 3 hours away from here, but there's really nothing there. So that sucked because there was really nothing to do. But also the schools weren't that good. It's predominantly African American, like not really any other type of people there, anything like that. So, and it didn't really have a lot of funding. It was pretty run down and everything like that. But I grew up there until I was 12 years old with my mom. We lived in some government housing for a little bit because my mom was a single mom. She was in the Navy. She had Chris in the Navy and me like right after the Navy or something like that. But she just didn't have a lot of money. She had some health problems from the Navy and stuff like that. And my grandparents were there as well, along with my uncle and my cousin and then a few other family members. So my grandparents had to like actually take us into their house. Like we ended up living with them for like, I think like 6 years or something like that because my mom was just like struggling and stuff. She had like gallbladder problems and like just had some problems from the Navy or whatever. But we never starved. We always had food. Our church hooked us up sometimes and stuff like that. But pretty much Chris and I were just in this town for years and years, barely went anywhere, came to Roanoke a few times to see my dad type shit, or came up here for like a week with my dad. And that over the years, I was just like, fuck this. I need to do something. I need to see more stuff. So when I came to Roanoke at 12, I was like very grateful about that because the mountains and stuff. There it's flat. The thunderstorms are bad. Like there's nothing to do and everything like that. But we lived with my grandma until like 6th, 7th grade. Then that's when I moved up to Roanoke. I don't know how old I was. It was 6th or 7th grade. Moved up to Bent Mountain. My mom was doing better at that point, like secured a better job. She was going to school and like getting a degree and stuff like that. So she ended up getting a better job here in Roanoke. We moved to Roanoke and we stayed here. We moved to Roanoke and then we stayed in Roanoke for like a year. I think it was like 1 year or something like that. And then we ended up moving back because something with her job. Like something fucked up with her job or something. So we moved back, had to go to my grandparents, like had nowhere to go. Like she couldn't get us a house here or anything like that. We got evicted, moved back with my grandparents, stayed there for like another year or something like that. And then we ended up moving back to Roanoke. And then we moved back to Roanoke. We went to Cinnamon Ridge Apartments. There's a lot that happened. And that was like in 9th grade or something like that. Chris and I moved back in 9th grade. We stayed with my dad's, old girlfriend for like a few months right before my mom ended up getting apartments here at Cinnamon Ridge or whatever. And then that was in the end of 9th grade. And then that's when I stayed in Roanoke, like until pretty much now, other than traveling and stuff like that. But we never had money for like anything other than what we needed it for, like food and shit like that. My mom went through cancer twice, like growing up and shit like that. Single mom. We did have a stepdad for a small amount of time, but he was kind of like abusive and fucking crazy. So that was bad. My grandparents was like, don't marry this guy, apparently to my mom. But my mom didn't even know or whatever. But yeah, that guy was fucked up. But other than that, I mean, it was pretty good. We always got to eat food. My grandparents helped us. We lived with them a little bit. And yeah, I mean, I'm where I am today. But the main thing for me, like wanting to travel and get out and like do different stuff is I didn't have money for shit growing up. We were blessed, like we weren't starving type shit. But it made me want to like go do stuff, go pursue more, see more, experience more shit and stuff like that.
I don't think anybody would. I'm not muted, am I? I don't think anybody would knowing you guys for as long as y'all have guessed or assumed that y'all starved. At least not at one point in your life. So that's good. Honestly, bro, me and you kind
food
of
stamps, brother.
Hey, there was a time we were on food stamps too, bro. And the food stamps comes in clutch, honestly. That was the dang. I forgot about that there for a second. And my mom had, well, for the most part, when we had food stamps, she had 3 kids. When by the time she had my little bro, she didn't really need them anymore. But
That shit saved us, bro.
the beginning of the month was always great. I love going to the grocery store, bro.
Free
'cause
lunch
we had
at school.
Yeah, I had free lunch at school too. Um, I hated school lunch though. That's the sad part. But it's free, but it's like ugh. But yeah, bro, we have a lot of similarities, honestly, in our upbringing. Like I didn't move around out in and out of Roanoke a lot, but I moved in Roanoke a lot. We moved like literally every year of my entire life up until I don't even know, bro, till like I was a junior in high school. Like I went to Hidden Valley for like almost all of high school. I was at Case Spring for my first 9 weeks, and then I was at Hidden Valley for the last, everything after that till I graduated. But even that time, there was times I was moving around. Like I could only go to that school because I knew people that were willing to like let me use their address to go to Hidden Valley. But I was still moving. Like I was living in Salem, going to Hidden Valley. And that's why I had to buy a car, because if I want to go to school and stay at Hidden Valley and not go to Salem, which I did not want to go there, I had to get a car so I can drive to and from school without a license that I didn't have yet. But
Oh yeah, I went to Hidden Valley in 6th grade.
gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, we moved around a lot too, bro. Had to live off food stamps there for a bit. My mom had job issues, here and there. There was times she had really great jobs, times she didn't have such great jobs. But same thing, like we always made like we always were taken care of. We didn't have to like struggle. We were never homeless or anything like that. Always had clothes on our back, food on our table. So, but I think, the fact that me and you, and even your brother, Chris, I can speak for, we both can speak for him in saying that I think the fact that we had that type of upbringing and background and childhood kind of, gave us the motivation to do what we do now, because I know I can't speak for you guys on this particular topic, but I know I've always said, like, if I'm going to have a family, I want to be able to make sure that I provide for them and, give them the best life possible that I can give them, where they don't have to worry about, moving around too much or bouncing from school to school. Like, I switched schools, bro, every single year until high school. Like, literally, I've been to every elementary school in Roanoke and, like, 3 middle schools, or maybe just 2. But I think us having that type of upbringing and going through that kind of made us, want more out of life. Like you said, it made you didn't really get to go to too many places or do too much. And now that you're older, like you got to travel a lot and see new things, So I think that's a testament to like the fact that you couldn't do those things when you're younger. And it was the same for me, bro. I didn't go to the beach. I think I went to the beach like one time, like when I was 5. Barely remember it. Remember bird shit getting dropped on my head and a cousin convincing me it was ice cream, because we all had ice cream that one day, and I ended up eating the bird poop off my head and everybody thought it was funny. But that's the only memory I have from like traveling when I was younger. But I didn't get to like go to an official beach trip or really get out of the state much again until I was in high school, and I went with a friend to the beach. Like his family
over.
Yeah, his family like invited me out, like let me go to the beach with them, and it was the same friend I was using their address to like go to Hidden Valley and stuff. Someone I grew up with.
When I went to the beach, it was my mom's friend who ran a daycare, and my mom gave her money that we could spend, but we were only like 13 or something, and she literally like told us what we could do with our money.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she like was like, I brought y'all to the beach with me. I'm gonna tell y'all how to spend your money. I was like, I wanted a fucking boogie board. She was like, nah, you can't get a boogie board. Get this shirt right here. That's the only time I went to the beach back then, man.
I never been big on like buying like stuff at the beach. I'm always about spending
I wanted
money.
to go in the water with a boogie board, and I feel like now looking back, she just didn't want me to deal with that.
Probably.
I don't know, man.
I don't want that responsibility. Buy a t-shirt. But no, I think the fact that not to drag it out, I think since that we went through that, it kind of put us in a position where we are now. At least our mindset and how we're motivated to get out there and see new things, try new things. Hustle, make money, make sure we're taken care of. Like me and Cody never have any financial issues as long as I've known Cody. As long as we've been living together, the 2 separate times we lived together, we've never had. Like I've never even needed to ask you to borrow money from you. You've never had to ask me. We've always made sure we handle our shit, take care of our business, make sure that, we're handling our responsibilities. So that, like I said, it kind of goes back to, I can't remember if it was last episode or episode before that, we talked about like you got to go through some shit, to become the person that you're meant to be, to become a better person, better human being, et cetera, et cetera. Like I said, we didn't go through traumatic events, or at least, not that we publicly talked about or whatever, but the fact that we went through that shit, definitely gave us the drive that we have today, to want more out of life, because we didn't really get to have those.
And it means more.
Yeah, and it does mean more, because I can only imagine if you just got to do everything you wanted to do when you were younger, by the time you get older, you're probably just bored with life. Like, even especially for people that, are born into money, like rich motherfuckers. Like, I'm sure, fast cars get boring and big houses get boring and the beach gets boring. I'm bored of the beach now. I've gone to the beach so many times, at least Myrtle Beach. I'm bored of Myrtle Beach. I'm never going back to Myrtle Beach unless someone invites me, and I'm just kind of like coming along. But like, I'm sure all that shit gets boring, like just having the money and just doing all this shit, it has to get boring. So the fact that we didn't have things like that, didn't have nice things, nice cars, like nice trips, great food, I think it, like you said, it makes us, appreciate and enjoy it more, and, gives us that drive to want those things, to experience those things, to get out and do stuff, and just not have to keep living that lifestyle that we grew up living. You know what I mean? So, I definitely like.
Yeah, man, I remember living roaches.
Oh shit, I didn't have to deal with that.
Dude, I used to have like nightmares because that's how many roaches were in our house, bro. Like, we lived in government housing in Lawrenceville, Virginia, bro. Like, for years, man. Like, the roaches, bro, they would scatter in the night if you walk into the kitchen on the ground. Like, they had it was horrible, bro.
That's one thing I can say about my mom. She would never allow us to live in like something like that. She absolutely refused. She would do whatever it took. Even to the point, like, sometimes we wouldn't stay at my grandparents'. Like I said, they built their house. They have a brick house out in the country that my grandpa built with his bare hands, and a couple other people. So, like, there's times we go out there and they only have, it's like 2 bedrooms and a den. It was 3 bedrooms when my mom and my uncle were kids, but it's 2 bedrooms and a den now. So we go out there and all stay with them, like, me and my sisters and shit. So,
like, one day, bro, a roach, I took it to school on accident.
Oh, fuck.
And it came out of my bag, and the fucking teacher called me out. Like, dude, it was bad, man.
Damn.
It was bad. It was bad, bro.
I couldn't imagine that, man.
Like, literally, we had to not go into our house for a whole day multiple times that I lived there because they had to bomb the homes. Like, this was government housing, like, actually. Yeah. My mom paid like $300 a month type shit. And it was like right up the street from our church in Lawrenceville, Virginia. And literally, we had to, like, multiple times a year, they had to bomb the house with fucking roach shit. Like the air stuff. But then my mom was like, we can't live here no more type shit. So my grandparents let us come live with them. And then we lived with them until we moved. Because they ended up getting this really big house in the middle of downtown.
That's good that you had, your grandparents that were willing to do that, for their daughter and their grandkids. I mean, that was the same thing with my grandparents. I mean,
like, my mom's car got repoed and shit, everything, bro.
Been there, done that, bro. I think everybody could probably have a repo story.
Yeah,
shit
true.
Happens. But, that, like I said, for me, it's not, like, I don't look back at it and just like, there's a lot of other things that I've been through and happened when I was younger and stuff, but I just look at it as like lessons and learning experiences, especially the things that I remember. I know there's a shit ton that I don't remember, bro, but the things I do remember, which is typically like a lot of the good memories, the good stuff, a few bad memories, whatever. Definitely like just. I don't know. Like, I don't look back on it and just like whatever. I just take it and like, I want to make sure my family's not living like that. So that's why I'm working so hard now, to make sure I'm able to provide. Because I want to have a family. I want to have kids. Anybody that's talked to me lately will tell you that I am on a mission to have a lot of kids. Not a mission, but we'll say that for another day. That's another topic. But I want to have a family. I want to be able to leave a legacy. And I want people, I'm not going to say, I want to become some rich, ultra high net worth individual and then just give my kids everything. I'm on that Steve Harvey shit. I don't know if you've seen that Steve Harvey video where he's like, I ain't giving my kids shit. That's for me and your mama. I know you seen that video. I'm not gonna do it like that, But like I'm want to make sure that they are able to work for their things. Maybe I'll leave like prizes or something. Like you reach this level, you get this. You reach this level, you get this. You know, type of ordeal. I don't know. I haven't had kids yet. It might change when I actually have them. But I know I don't want to just hand it to them, because I know the fact that, like I said, me growing up the way that I did, it made me like a genuine, kind-hearted, caring, hardworking, motivated, wise, experienced individual that I am today. And I'm not saying that on some cocky shit. Like I'm just being for real. And I know if I spoil my kids and just give them whatever the fuck they want, they're gonna be assholes, and then I'm gonna have to beat their ass. And I don't want that to happen. So
that's another thing too. Chris and I always was working. Like my grandma had a neighbor named Ralph. We used to cut his grass, even though he only would give us $5 and make us split it. Ralph, what are you doing, man? Money was worth more back then, and you have money. You schemer. Then used to come to my grandma's house and eat breakfast unannounced every day. So Ralph,
fuck you.
Yeah. But Ralph, you were cool, but you were a manipulator at the same time.
You took advantage.
But
how dare you?
We used to like. There was a church and everything we used to do the leaves, the gutters of. Like, Chris and I would do anything to make money, dude. Yeah. Like, we tried to work at 15 to get workers' permits. Like, everything, man. So, like, that's one thing it taught me, living like that. And the guys, it wasn't bad and it got better. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people have worse situations, and I actually enjoy it. And it wasn't like like I said, we didn't starve, and we had a lot of help from a lot of people. So, that's good. But it did teach me, like, work ethic and, like, do more, have a better outcome and experience when I'm in control of my own life.
Yeah. No, I agree 110%. And that's a part of life, man. Everybody goes through different shit, different situations, and you know, you hear it all the time. Me and Cody talk about it. Life is, at the end of the day, is what you make it, and you know, it's how you set it up around you. You know, your environment, the people that are around you, your network, your everything that you're doing. It's about what you make it. You know, grass ain't greener on the other side. It's green where you water it. You know, all the cliches, all the mottos, all the phrases, you know, whatever you want to call it. So, you know, take things, you know, look, appreciate, you know, where you came from. And, you know, try to connect those dots, you know, and learn from your past experiences, and, you know, take time every now and then to reflect back on stuff. And, you know, you can, you know, do some deep reflection and figure, it helps you figure out, you know, the type of person that you are today. I do it a lot, you know, not just with friends, but even by myself. I'll sit here and just think about random different situations and how it's impacted me and why I am the way I am today because of this, you know, if this, then that type of, you know, thinking or whatever. But yeah, guys, I mean, there's people that had it worse than me and Cody, you know. I didn't have it, you know, as bad as you. Fuck. But roaches,
I didn't even have it bad, honestly.
Fuck.
I didn't even have it bad compared to people who like have parents with drugs issues.
Oh yeah, like I said, there's worse.
The
but
hood
fuck the roaches,
and
man. My mom
gangs.
would be livid. My mom would not.
But it
could not.
definitely was uncomfortable and like made me adapt and overcome shit like mentally. So.
Yeah. But yeah, so like, you know, appreciate the things that you have, appreciate the, you know, the experiences you've been through, you know, take what you can out of them and try to turn them into, you know, lessons for yourself, and, you know, how, you know, give yourself some experience and, you know, solutions or whatever to overcome things that you're having in your current life. You know, look back on, you know, past things and realize there's people out there that have had it worse. You know, a lot of you guys watching this probably had it better than me and Cody. There's some people that are probably watching this that had it worse than us. And there's some situations out there, maybe with some, like, you know, people that we've talked to that we just won't ever know. You know, you never know what people are going through, what they've been through, you know, so be courteous, be cautious, be loving, be kind. And yeah, I mean, that's it for me, man. There ain't much. I don't want to make this all about me and Cody episode. We just want to give y'all a little history on us, you know, something a little different. You know, we're always trying to come at you guys with something different. Next time you see us, I'm going to be a lot darker because I'm going to be in New Orleans for a whole entire week. You know, hopefully I don't have my shoes stolen or anything like that. And I'm going to try to come back as dark as you, bro.
Some fun facts. I grew up eating nothing but pasta. I mean, if you guys know me, you know that already.
Cody still eats pasta.
Also, as a kid, I ate dog biscuits. I don't know why.
That's
Chris and I ate dog biscuits when we were like 4. My grandma says we did at least. And I do kind of remember it.
Is that the key to y'all's height, maybe?
Dog biscuits? Yeah, they have a lot of protein in them.
Sits Your dad ain't sits. Your dad barely sits one. Your mom ain't that tall.
Some of y'all out there ate crayons. I ate crayons too.
Oh, well.
I remember eating crayons. I remember crawling. I have a vivid memory of crawling and being in a crib. I remember my first kiss was in kindergarten, and I got in trouble for that first kiss. Her name was Tatiana. She lived across the street from my grandma's first blue house. Then they moved to a second blue house 5 miles down the road, which we lived at for a little bit. My crush in kindergarten through all of to sixth grade was Mariah. Her name was Mariah. She knows who she is.
This man throwing out names.
I used to play on the train tracks and back in the woods. Fished at my uncle's pond.
Mariah, you should have kept him fucked up.
Let's see. I still talk to her to this day. So
Never mind, Mariah.
Shout out Mariah. We went to a all-black church where they said, in the name of Jesus, and I'm not making fun of that. That's just the type of church that is, and you guys probably know what I mean. But they were cool people, and I still talk to them to this day. Fuck Ralph and fuck roaches. That's about it for me. Follow me everywhere. Very Slayer's Key of the Day TikTok. I just came out with a new song, Motivation on My Mind. Go check that out. All streaming platforms, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, SoundCloud, Apple Music, Spotify, everything.
Yes, check out all our platforms, guys. Hustle House 24/7 on, well, obviously you're watching us on YouTube, but we are on Spotify. We're on Apple Music. Shit, I didn't know you made a new song, bro. You need to play that. I need to hear it. Yeah, guys, competition is still live, or not competition, giveaway is still live for us to reach 100 subscribers, so help us get there. We're gonna do it live. I don't know if it'll be live, but we're gonna have to do live, bro. We're gonna have to do some type of recording when we do our little roulette, when we do the giveaway. So that's still going. And yeah, guys, like I said, there ain't much else for me. You know, Lambo_CEO on Instagram, Lamar Tyree Hale on Facebook. You know, follow me for tips on finance and things and business of that nature. But yeah, that's it for me, man.
Also, shout out the local library in Lawrenceville, Virginia, and the bike crew we had. There used to be nothing to do, so we had Walmart bikes, and we just drove them around everywhere and did wheelies.
Hell yeah.
And I jumped a curb, landed it. My cousin jumped a curb, broke his collarbone. So
terrible influence.
Technique is key, everybody. All right, well, that's all for me.
But guys, we appreciate everyone that's been watching us up until this point. If you like our content, please engage, like, subscribe, all those things. You know, find us on all of our platforms. You know, keep watching. We do have guests planned. Like I said, things happen, not a big deal. You know, we're going to keep bringing on guests. I want to bring on, we talk about Chris a lot. We want to bring on Chris. You guys haven't met Blake yet. These are some people that are in our inner circle, owns their own businesses. They are both very busy guys. Blake's in West Virginia. Chris is busy from sun up to sundown. So we want you guys to hear from them as well. So that way you can put put faces to names. And there's a lot of other things that, you know, a lot of value that both of those guys can bring to the podcast as well. So yeah, keep an eye out. You know, we're going to keep bringing on people, but until next time, guys, can you cut that out? Until next time, guys, that was another episode of Hustle House 24/7, 365. We're missing our third camera. But yeah, that's it. Peace.